All right, so finding the documentation for an OAuth provider is usually just Googling it. If I want to say like Google OAuth, and I'm using DuckDuckGo, but if I want to actually use Google to search for Google OAuth, I can. So they're using OAuth2 to access Google APIs. It's the top result. And so I can click on that, and it's got
I'm surprised
all the
to see you
instructions.
using Google.
So I don't usually for my day-to-day everything stuff, but they can have more relevant results than most sites. So they got detailed instructions. Usually you don't need most of them, but I mostly use the documentation because we got such a nice package that does all the steps for you already. Generally, I just look here to try to find what those endpoints are. Because remember the config needs to have the endpoints filled out. So for Google, that's not a problem because we've got the sub package Google here, and it's got a variable endpoint with that filled out already. So the other thing that you want to look for when you're looking for OAuth stuff is how do you actually sign up for it. And so this can be tricky to find for some things, easier for others. Google, it's a little tricky because I think you have to have a cloud project for it. Facebook is tricky because they have to approve your thing.
And you have
sometimes.
to promise your children to them too, right? No, maybe not.
Maybe.
I don't know if that was in the terms of service or not. I can't remember.
So for GitHub is the easiest one to find. You just go to your settings, and then you go to developer settings, and then OAuth apps. And so here's where you need to be for it. And so it's got a docs link. So I'm going to just open that in another tab so I can get to that in a second. And register a new application. So if I'm going to create some OAuth app that you can log in with GitHub or that can access GitHub repos and such, this would be how you get to it. And it's taking a really long time.
It's almost there though.
Or it's pretending that it's almost there. And so here you are. So then you create some name for your app. So this would generally be the name of your website. So web authentication example. You need the URL of your site. So we don't actually have one. And so example.com. HP. A description is optional. It'll show up on the login page, though, if you want to have more details. And then your callback URL. So this is, if you remember back at here, you need to put in a redirect URL. You also want to register that here, just the exact same URL.
And how long does it take them to approve?
Instant.
Oh, really?
GitHub doesn't have any review process. It's all automated.
Just needs the data.
OAuth2. I like to use OAuth2 receive. And so now it's created. And so now I can now see my client ID and client secret are both right here. And those are the two values that I need for the config. Client ID, client secret. I've got the endpoint down below from the GitHub sub package, and I've got the redirect URL that I had put into this originally, and so they list that here as well.
Cool.
So that's all the information I need actually now to set up an OAuth.
Awesome.
So I can also add in a logo, and they'll show that too. But yeah, I'm ready to actually use this now.
Nice. Anything more to add to that?
No.
Cool.
So our next video should be on actually writing code.
I'm looking forward to it. All right. See you in the next video. It'll help me wake up. Let me write the code. It'll help me wake up. All right. See you in the next video.